They even give you the phonetics, people. Let's go over it. The name of the wine, Guadagni. 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 No, it's Guadagni. Italian. Not Italian. Italian immigrants coming to the Dry Creek Valley of Sonoma County back in the late 1800s, early 1900s. Multi-generational, historic old vine Zinfandel vineyard here. This is big time gear. A lot of top wineries have used grapes for their own special programs. For example, Ridge used not even their best fruit at Guadagni, we'll get to that in a bit, for their ATP program, which any of you wine dorks know, that's the winery direct program of limited exclusive single vineyard wines that Ridge does. Guadagni was part of their selection for years from the vines that were planted only in the 1950s. Those are the young vines. That's the kid stuff. We're dealing with the big dog vines today. So Guadagni makes a bit of their own wine. The family winemaking, multi-generational, multi-grape growing, and there's some funny business with this wine. Not the wine itself, which is amazing, which I'll pour some you can see in a sec, but just the name. If you notice, it's called the 1906 block. That is an implication that that the vineyards were planted in 1906, which that sounds great, right? That means those are some old vines, like 118-year-old vines already. But no, they meant to confuse you. 1906 is more about when the family first really got situated in the Dry Creek Valley. So when the patriarch of the family said, hey, if you're ever gonna make a wine from the original old vines on the property, I want you to call it the 1906 block, because that's when we started out as an entity. So they did it. But see, there's just one slight problem with this, is the vineyard that this wine was produced from was actually planted in the 1880s. These are almost 140-year-old Zinfandel vineyards in the Dry Creek Valley. The vines here are almost 140 years old. 1906? No. 1880s. They don't have a specific year, but they know it was in the 1880s that this vineyard was planted. This is Dry Creek Valley Zin at its most beautiful, hedonistic, and ostentatiously brilliant. Dry Creek, as with the Russian River Valley, is blessed with a great terroir where you can really push ripening in a Zinfandel without going into full pud mode, what we call pudding mode, you know, where the wines were like porty. The deal here is you can get ripeness, richness, and intensity, but with a nice backbone and structure and balance to the wine. And that's what we have with this Guadagni. This is liquid history. This is, I don't know how many vineyards in Dry Creek there are planted in the 1880s, but this has to be one of half a dozen? Maybe. Probably less than that. This is, oh my God, this is museum stuff. And the family just makes a little bit of this fabulous single vineyard, Dry Creek Valley, Sonoma County, Zinfandel. And here you get the classic Zin. Raspberry, bramble, spice. Dry Creek has that raspberry thing down. Like Russian River almost heads towards like a cherry, or, you know, a lot of times. And the Dry Creek Valley stuff, it just has that real urgent raspberry. And here we have like just raspberry on steroids. It's really beautiful. 19, really great Zinfandel vintage. Yes, yes! You can have your cake and eat it too. That's what great Dry Creek Valley Zinfandel does. These old vines, these treasured old vines, they reach a certain point of equilibrium, right? There's size here, there's weight. This wine's 15.3, which, by the way, is perfectly proper Zinfandel alcohol levels. Don't fall into this trap of like, I only drink Zinfandels under 13.5. Your Zinfandel's gonna taste like shite at that level. There's one or two masters of Zinfandel in the state that can do that. What you need to do, hens and chickens, there's a scenario here where there's like green berries and wrinkled berries and raisin berries, etc., on the same cluster. With great Zinfandel, you have to kind of guess. You have to be a fantastic prognosticator of where your potential alcohol and quality and flavor is going to end up. And when you pick Zinfandel, you have to account for that. And nobody knows that better than the Guadagni family. They've been farming this vineyard for a century. It's a long time. It's like the Italian stuff, you know. Winery was founded in 987. You know, this type of deal. For California, that's history, serious history. And you can taste it in this wine. This wine is rich, it's beautiful, it is zinny, it is powerful. 1% Petit Syrah. I think it's 99 Zin, 1% Petit Syrah. So almost all Zinfandel in this old vineyard, which is a rarity in and of itself. But you get great concentration and intensity here with that classic Dry Creek Valley freshness still in the back. And it doesn't pop up until right at the end, and it just frames the wine and kind of buttresses all this really intense, beautiful raspberry fruit in the wine. What a treat. I actually hadn't seen this wine because they sell everything direct to consumer pretty much. So this was a real treat getting this. I think maybe COVID maybe bit them in the rear a little bit, you know, as it did with a lot of wineries, where they didn't get the walk-in business, they didn't get this direct-to-consumer type business, etc. So when that happens, we tend to get those phone calls. And we love getting those phone calls, especially in a situation like this. This is special, special wine. Wow. Can we just keep this rolling for the next 20 minutes while I just drink like a glass or two of this stuff? Just kind of get the picture. This is absolutely delightful. I'm a Zin fan myself, always have been. I love Chinon, I love Sancerre, but I love Zinfandel too. And if you're a Zin fan, this is remarkable gear for the money. So usually like $42 retail to winery something. We're rolling this out at 20 bucks a bottle. And I think, I think we're gonna do 10% off 6 or more. We'll figure it out. But I think we can do 10% off 6 or more on this. Any fan of great old vine Zinfandel needs to have bottles of this in their cellar. This wine at $20 is simply ridiculous. That's like Lodi Zinfandel pricing. Sorry, Lodi. But you know, that's what we're talking about here. But we're getting 140-year-old Dry Creek Valley heritage vines at this price. Just crazy. Absolutely remarkable. So tickled pink to have this wine in store. Ugh.